solid gold.
Duh. I'm already like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we get Matt fired up on a topic, we know it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's time to hurry up and hit record.
Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. Here to talk about shooting. On deck tonight, Mr. Park.
Hello.
Mr. Prank is here.
Hello.
And Jason Bradley is also on board.
Hello.
Looks like you're lubing up your gap there, Jason.
Yeah, I am.
All right, so I'm very excited because we learned just before we went live that Matt is going to talk about something that triggers him. And the only description we got of the topic was the fucking people with the dry fire videos. So I can't wait to learn more.
Yeah, no. So it's a trigger. I mean, it's mildly irritating to me, to say the least, right? And it's watching, the whole, like I've said it 100 times, man. Instagram is ruining fucking shooting one video at a time.
Tell me more. I want to hear more. Why is this?
Watching, so much information's out there about dry firing, how to dry fire correctly, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I love the way you guys wrote your most current book, where you leave it up to the individual, like, hey, you're gonna scale up or scale down, figure out where you're gonna enter this dry fire manual and start training correctly. And everyone always enters it at a much higher level than what their actual ability is, right? Or I'm watching guys dry fire, to where they're racing par times, mm-hmm. right? Not understanding when they read some of your earlier books and that the times in like dry fire reloaded are not par times, rather they're goal times. Goal times for you to consistently hit that, provided that all the other skills, most important, the visual side of it, that you're getting the training out of dry fire where you're visually confirming what the sights are doing, right? And you're able to process that and adjust to it while it's happening and not after the fact. And right. For me, that's always been the goal with dry fire.
And you're gripping the gun properly while you're doing that.
Everything. Yeah. You got to have a good grip, but you see guys, put out, oh, great. You got a blazing fast reload, right? You can reload your pistol in 0.8 seconds, dry fire, right? Mm-hmm. And you post that on the Instagrams. But in reality, when you stand at 7 yards, you're almost doubling that time, 1.2, 1.3, 1.5 seconds.
So
to reload.
Along the same line, Matt, I want to ask what you think about this. I saw a guy put out a video on Instagram where it was the normal shooting video I've seen, where it's just going to be super fast draw, squirt some bullets, super fast reload, squirt some bullets. But instead of just doing that on a paper target, he put out some clay pigeons. He did. He put out, so he'd like clay pigeon, reload, clay pigeon, and you could see everything in the shot. What do you think about that?
I think the difference in that video is the guy probably hit the stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This particular guy did hit the stuff. This was Jason put out this video. So
I know. Video. Yeah.
You saw it. So Jason, this is perfect. You got to come in and tell us, like, your video that you put up, I assume you're addressing something along the lines of what Matt's talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I when I put it up, I wasn't thinking of anything. I just did it. But it's like I had to, I wanted to make it hard. I wanted to make it more difficult than just squirting 2 bullets, reload, squirting 2 bullets. So I wanted to hit difficult targets, and then you had to nail the reload. But I was also just, kind of goofing around. But I agree with everything Matt's saying. So.
Yeah, I think I think when you see these guys doing this, and like, I will tell you, for me, historically, there's no difference in what I can do dry fire versus live. Like, I don't have blazing fast dry fire par time, right? Like, I've never been able to dry fire El Prez in 3 seconds, where you see some guys, because the overarching theme of all my dry fire has always been visual discipline and visual confirmation of what the sights look like. And it goes back to, like, making sure that grip's solid or whatever. We had just had a conversation with Ben about grip that kind of makes me feel bad about my shooting. But when the grip is solid, right, and it's good all the time, the recoil is not an issue. It's the visual engagement and staying connected to the target and connected to the sight and being able to understand and make minor corrections and minor inputs to what's happening while it's happening. That's the goal of dry fire. And then when you take that to live, you're much more, capable when you're actually building that skill, rather than, most people too, I think they don't focus on that visual part and the confirmation in dry fire. They only work on a gun handling piece because it's easy, and then they can get results with that. But it takes much more, objective discipline to assess what you're doing, visually. Because when you're dry fire, there's nothing to score on the target, and then everything's like, oh yeah, that's good. Because no one wants to beat themselves up and be like, hey man, you are dragging off on every single target, or the gun's not even up to your eye target line. You're not even going to hit. And
yeah.
I see video after video of this shit on Instagram.
Let me throw out a hypothetical situation, and you tell me if this sounds like something that could trigger you. A person hypothetically is doing 4 aces. They snatch the gun out of the holster. They barely got it in their hands without dropping it on the ground. The gun almost gets to eye level. Then they smash the trigger. They bring the gun back down, slam a mag into the gun, kind of sort of have a grip, maybe get the gun up at eye line-ish, and then click the trigger a couple times, doing like cup and saucer or who knows what it is. And then like, man,
yeah.
that was 1-7. Like, let's go. I'm really getting somewhere. So is that kind of what you're talking about, as opposed to like if there was actually firing live ammo, they wouldn't have any recoil control. It's not building good habits. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's like, I would love it to see take a major national level match and make 4 aces one of the stages.
Yes.
I bet you very few guys would be throwing times up under, 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, man. I like it.
All right.
Yeah. I could talk about that for an hour. That's stuff. It just bothers me because and then other people that are, maybe looking in the wrong, they're looking to Instagram or looking to social media for, kind of guidance and training or ideas. And they see this and it starts to reset. Oh, well, this is normal. This is what on-demand performance, this is what all the time looks like. And it's just not what it looks like.
Yeah, they're like celebrating shit training.
Yeah, and you start building those scars in. You do that for 6 or 8 months, you're going to spend a year undoing it.
Yeah,
I think.
All right.
I like it.
Well,
if you
let's
like
move
what
on.
Matt's talking about, by the way, to plug my own stuff,
Okay.
there was a training group live episode that we talked with Matt, and we were talking about why Instagram has ruined shooting. So if you like what he's saying and want to hear more of it, we talked about a similar topic to that on Training Group Live. Look at that. I use your podcast to show my own stuff, Ben.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. Who wants to go next?
Ben, what do you have to say, sir?
I want to talk about something that I think people will understand, but I see it so frequently. And like Matt, this might be a trigger warning. This might be something that bothers me a lot. And I see it a lot, especially at club matches. And it's the difference between planning and programming. So here's what I mean is you see a guy who like walks through the stage like once and it's complicated. It's like a complicated situation. Like he's going to shoot in one place and then walk while he's shooting a couple more targets, then change angles and shoot some other shit. Like it's a complicated thing. He walks through it once and then he shoots it and totally fucks it up. Totally. And then he'll say like, well, I plan to do, that thing that you said, like this complicated thing, like I plan to. But I saw him walk through it once. He might have had this vague notion in his head that is something that he wanted to do, but he never translated that into actually programming himself, visualizing it so that he would actually do it when the buzzer went off. You guys get the distinction I'm making here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think most people don't understand this distinction, especially like at the club level. They view planning as like they walk through the stage, they get a vague notion of what they want to do. Like reload, they figure out where they're going to reload, and then they just, shoot that bitch, as opposed to a detailed visualization and some planning.
Ben, tell me more. What do you mean by detailed visualization? What should someone be doing to not let this happen to them?
I would recommend a particular spot on each target that you're going to look to, as well as visual markers so you can locate positioning, and then looking for where there's going to be time that you're not doing anything, like just running, and try to eliminate that dead time as much as you can. Shooting more targets while you're moving, or giving yourself a spot to look at to attack in terms of movement, like running towards that. You know what I mean? Like a specific thing to do at all times on the stage, indicated by something visual. That would be like like turning the plan into programming, into something that's actually going to happen.
What if I think I have it programmed, but I'm not sure, Ben? What should I do in that instance, sir?
I don't know. Like, I'd probably program it some more.
How about closing your eyes and being able to, like, where all the targets are, standing back?
Yeah, I mean, that's the test.
The
but if you're not sure, like, I guess just keep doing it until you are. But I think understanding the distinction is really the important part that I'm getting at.
Do you see this happening more with, like, lower classification guys?
Well, lower classification people who've hardly been around, or people who've been around forever. You know what I mean? You'll see people who've been around forever that's just like sitting at the same level of shooting, not really improving, and probably this is a big part of why. They don't really, I don't know, they don't really program in what's going to happen. Anyway, that's what I've got. Something to think about for people. Mr. Park, what do you want to talk about, sir?
I have a show and tell, because I get asked questions about it quite a bit. I have in my hot little hands, for the audio listeners, it's just a GoPro mounted on a Pro Shot baseball cap. I don't know, one of my friends had just some mount, and so all I did was drill holes into the bill of a hat, and this mount, I don't know, I think came with the GoPro, and it just slid in and attached. Whatever. Like, this isn't. Oh, Sasquatch is calling me. Very sorry, he'll have to wait. This setup itself isn't that complicated. Whatever. It's just a GoPro mounted to a hat. But so then people are like, well, what do you use it for? Is it just for posting your stage runs on Instagram? And I've actually got a lot more use out of it than I originally thought I would even. So there's a couple of things I think that's really worth talking about. First thing is, you don't always know what's actually happening. You might recall, like, oh, I shot the activator, the popper for the activator, then I shot static target, then the activated target, or I came in on the left target, it was really the right target. When things are happening so fast in competition, sometimes it's tough to actually remember, or practice for that matter, actually remember what really happened. So I think it's good to verify. I remember talking recently with a friend where I was like, hey, you shot this steel, you went after this one, you went to war with it a little bit, then you moved on. I was like, and then you came back and picked it up later. He's like, no, I'm pretty sure I hit. I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm like, here, let's look at some video. So anyway, it's handy for that. Another thing is, actually seeing like delayed movement or imprecise transitions due to staring at your dot. So you can see how the gun's tracking. Like, if I'm watching my footage and I come off this partial and I see like delayed movement or going to the next target, I'll see like the dot go past the sights. Like, I'm watching the muzzle of the gun, and I'll see like I'm shooting a tough target, and then it like goes over and it comes back, or it doesn't go to the right spot and I have to adjust. It's like, oh, I was obviously staring at the dot. Like, quit being an idiot. Stop doing that. Or maybe I'm going to position. I'm like, oh, I thought I had the gun up. I was aiming to the wall. I watched the video. It's like, oh, I could have had the gun up sooner. Whatever. So anyway, I think there's a lot of takeaways from analyzing your shooting. And like I said, when it's all happening so fast, it's tough to process it, tough to remember it all. But then I can go back and, I mean, if you want to frame by frame, look at what's actually happening and see if what you think is happening, what's actually happening. And that's a good way for me, like for my shooting, to find stuff that I want to address. Because I'm like, I thought this was happening. I'm obviously still looking at my dot once in a while. I definitely don't want to be doing that anymore. So in my dry training or in my next live training, I'm going to be really aware of that issue I'm having and make sure I work through it. So, and then I use even just for practice. Like, I just throw that hat on and hit go, and then, if I like want to remember what happened or play back the tape, whatever, it's just there. So anyway, I think it's pretty valuable.
You have a hat cam, right, Jason?
I have a GoPro. I just bought one, and I have not mounted it yet. And I also have the Aim Pro glasses, but
Well,
I
you
haven't
can-
used either one of them yet.
All right. Well, I guess we'll be seeing some shooting footage from you soon. You don't wear a GoPro to match, do you, Matt? Have you considered it?
No, no, I haven't. I need to. I'm bad about filming anything. I need to probably get better at it.
Me too.
Well, if I could quickly ramble, Ben, before we move on, like my deal for this is like I'm not gonna mess around with this crap during my make ready. Like it's just not going to happen. So I'll just hit go, like when I put my hat on, like when I'm a couple shooters down, and I'll just let that thing run for a couple minutes before I shoot. Like I don't care. I'll edit it later. Like it's already on my head. It's already going. I don't like, oh, I'm getting ready to shoot. Let me make sure I have pro grip. Let me make sure I have this stupid thing turned on. Like I'm not gonna mess with that. So I just hit go, put on the hat. I forget it's there. And then like when I shoot, when I get done, sometime afterwards, I'll just turn it off. So it's not like it's not a distraction when I actually want to shoot. And I remember when I first got it, a conversation I had with Ben. I was like, well, I think I'll just use it for practice. I don't know if I'll use it for matches. And Ben's like, yeah, you need to use that in matches. I was like, okay. And then I was pretty glad I did. So
Are the Aim Pro glasses better than you think or ones that have the camera? I know there's a couple companies cameras in the glasses rather than the head mounted.
I think you'll like the angle and the footage quality from that camera, but the problem is they're your glasses, and if you have other glasses you like, you got a problem.
Yeah, that's it.
And I have like lenses and frames that I already like. They're comfortable. I'm used to, so I just don't want to mess with anything else. Whereas a baseball cap, like maybe it's not the best angle. It's a little bit of weight on the bill of your hat, but it's out of the way. Like I don't have to mess with it. And it's not in my vision at all.
So I did get these set up and ran some drills, and it's on my Instagram, Matt. So if you wanted to look at it, and I did have the camera set down to where you can actually kind of see the dot pretty well, but then the camera's kind of in your eyesight, your eye line a little bit more, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to proceed with that in an actual match. So for the purpose of getting the dot and maybe seeing what the dot's doing, but even then it's not exactly right. It's a little off. So it is better for that, but these are kind of bulky. I actually like these. I do. They're bulky. They're heavier. So if you have a really nice pair of glasses, and this is actually going to segue nicely into my topic. These are bulkier, heavier, and then you got to match lens types and all that stuff. So or just wear these constantly. So I did wear these for a couple hours, multiple times in practice sessions, and I would prefer to wear a nice pair of glasses for the most part, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But you did like the footage you pulled off that.
I did, and there's some pretty cool. It does look pretty good. Is this a good time to do mine?
Yeah, sir. Go for it.
Fire away, dude.
All right. So this is what I'm talking about is glasses. So I am on the hunt for a new pair of glasses. I've been using a particular brand. It doesn't matter. But
yeah,
the
it
one
does.
lens. Okay, so Oakley's. I've been using Oakley's, and it's the one lens. I guess it's the M type or whatever, and they've basically just been the dark lenses. I've shot those for about a year or two, and I like the glasses. They're comfortable. The lenses are good. The one thing I like about them, and I don't have either one of them. My pair's with me in here, but
that's okay.
They cover most everything, so you don't get a lot of light in from underneath and the sides. But I just bought a pair of flak 2.0s and flak jackets or something like that, and they let a little bit more light in. And I got a different prism lens on those, so I'm going to be messing with those to see what that does.
I shoot flak jackets usually.
Yeah, so I do like them. They're light. And I got the golf prism lenses, and I do like that so far. So I'm kind of experimenting with that to see how that handles multiple lighting situations. I know there's glasses out there like the Hunters 2.0, the Hunters Gold. Those are supposed to handle a bunch of different lighting conditions. So the issue was I was tired of having a pair of clear lenses and a pair of dark lenses for maybe the same day, and always carrying those with me because you don't know what's going to happen. You show up, it's overcast, the sun comes out. Now you kind of need some dark lenses. So that's basically been this week in shooting for me, is I'm experimenting with lenses and tints. So I bought a pair. They allowed me to return them. I have 60 days to return make a couple returns. So I'm basically going to take advantage of it and see if I see there's any benefit out of the golf prisms or any of the prism lenses and frame types.
I like it.
What do y'all think about those, Ben?
I've used the golf. I like them. Andreas uses the prism trails. Those are, he likes those more for the browns. But yeah, I think it's a good lens. I don't think it's the best in super bright sunlight.
So today I came home. It was super bright outside. I took both my Oakley pair of glasses out, and super bright. I was still somewhat blinded.
Yeah, like the M frames are with the darker lenses are going to be your pick for bright light, I think.
But that's the problem. I don't want to carry 2 pair of glasses around, so I'm trying to be certain.
You almost need a transition lens, but you have to carry clears anyway for when it rains, dude. You're not really thinking this through.
I guess not.
I only have 3 pairs in my range bag and then a 4th in my car. Because,
I know,
options.
What if you have a shoot house? Like stage 1 in Florida or whatever,
What were you saying, Matt?
Oakley makes a pretty decent transition lens.
They do.
And it transitions pretty quickly, too.
So the other thing I will say is when I bought these aim cams, they have some yellow tint, and I've been wanting to try the Hunter's HD Gold glasses out to try those because I think those are somewhat transitions. I know, Ben, you've tried some of those, but I just wanted to try everything because everybody's different. And I was trying to avoid having 2 lenses. But the cool thing about Oakley's is you can have the lenses change out very easily. So that may be something I do is have a set of glasses with a particular lens, whatever I settle on, and then maybe have a clear set for the. But then the problem is you're basically paying for the lenses when you buy glasses, and so you almost haven't. It's less stuff to pack, I guess. I don't want to carry 2 sets of glasses with me if I can avoid it, but I may not be able to. So.
Well, I guess we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah, all right, let's take a question. I'm new to USPSA and shooting sports in general. I was in law enforcement for over a decade. Still have reserve status. I say that because I'm going to run matches in more of a duty setup. That includes my gun and carry optics. It's a stock Glock 17 with a red dot sight and a surefire weapon-mounted light. Part of my reason for doing this, and I hope other cops are competing as well, is to get better at shooting. I also want to see what concepts can be applied to the tactical world from the competitive world firsthand. In my mind, carrying close to what you have on the road seems to be a good thing, division depending. But listening to your podcast reverse order, the gist I'm getting is weapon lights are not really liked by some of the well-established shooters. If people are abusing it and buying weights with an LED, I get the hate. But if it's a legit duty light, do you hold the same opinion? I was just curious if you were opposed to them completely in the competitive realm, or the fact that the rule is too broad and should be narrowed. Okay, no, I'll answer for myself. I apologize for the confusion on this. I don't really give a shit if you have a flashlight on your gun or not. We have divisions that, well, traditionally were limited modifications, so they just said no to all sorts of stuff, including weapon-mounted lights, because the reason that we'd put them on is for weights. So when they started fucking the rules around and encouraging people to play with that stuff, that was what irritated us. I don't think anybody really cares if you have a flashlight on your gun. It's not really about that. Is that a complete answer, I think? Yeah.
That was perfect. And then, I think some of us just did some testing with and without the light to see if we could notice a difference.
Yes, and it was like my frustration is that you guys were put in a position where you had to be testing that shit.
I wanted to know, like,
I think that's stupid.
Yes or no.
All right.
You're not wrong.
It's it. Nobody's saying anything. Not having a go at the establishment.
No,
I think people get the picture.
I think we already have it figured out, Ben.
I think we do. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand they did the weapons light thing, trying to broaden, everyone in USPSA. The problem is nobody's turning the damn light on before they start shooting in the middle of the day. And then it starts blending in this, like cops want to use it.
Matt, you're around plenty of, I guess we'd call them tactical people. Do you think what's keeping them from matches is the fact that they can't bring their pistol with a weapon-mounted light to a match? Is that what's keeping them?
100% no.
You think there might be another reason?
Yeah,
Perhaps.
yeah.
Tell me
A
more.
slew-
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's the same thing. You don't want to be told that you're not good at your life's work. And basically, for most guys, when they go to a match the first time, that's what they're going to get told. Now, the right mindset, the guy with the right mind is going to take that and understand, hey, I can learn these guys are obviously better at shooting than I am. So let me steal what I can from them and help get better at my job, right? And that's the biggest thing, man. Like cops, any quote unquote tactical shooter can't do is they can't separate the shooting from the tactics. And it's shooting is shooting. It doesn't matter if it's USPSA 3-gun. It's shooting is shooting. You know, you want the most performance you can get, and you introduce that into other different games or tactics, whatever. And you're going to be better for it. I think.
Well, you're not wrong. I love having a little lesson there at the end. Story time for Matt's always the best time. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you guys for coming on. I do appreciate it. Listeners, if you have any questions you'd like the answer to, go to benstecker.com. Send us your questions. We'd love to hear from you.